Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at a Red Dragon Inn Allies expansion. This one's actually a special one that just came out. It's a collaboration between Slugfest Games and Steve Jackson Games, and it is Spyke and Flower from Munchkin. And it comes with a little disclaimer at the bottom. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera there. There are two alternate reality characters that were shamelessly pilfered from the world of Munchkin. And then it has a little subnote that by pilfered they mean legally contracted. And not only do we add two new characters to the game, they both play very similar. It's a male and a female. Obviously Spyke and Flower, the two figureheads for Munchkin. But they also add a new mechanic and an equipment deck. Kind of plays out like Munchkin. You have slots that you have to equip items into, and it boosts your level. Based on your level, your abilities do different things, similar to Pookie's Rage level. And the box also includes a really cool new feature to Red Dragon Inn in the form of Otto the automaton. And he's an AI-controlled player that you can use in a two-player game to make it into a three-player game, so you have a little bit more fun in those small two-player games. And tried to mess around with it to see if it would work in a larger player count, and it really doesn't because of the way its mechanics are. But if you are going to play the game two-player, which Red Dragon Inn's kind of meh two-player, this will give you a third player for all of your games, which is really nice. So anyway, we're going to get in here and take a look at the new stuff. So one of the cool things about this is that it does come with a bunch of other stuff for other games as well. You have the bookmark here that can be used in your Munchkin games. It's the bookmark of Drunken Celebration. There was a deck of expansion cards for Munchkin that came out that were Red Dragon Inn themed. I did not pick those up because we haven't been playing Munchkin as much, but we have been playing Red Dragon Inn. Next we have our rules flyer. This has all the things you need in order to play the game, including playing both of the new characters. It has a full standalone expansion, so you can actually play this game right out of the box. It has a full rules in here. Like I said, you have your new rules for the new characters, as well as a thing on the back for Otto. He has his own little section there. So it's nice that it's standalone and you can do everything in the one box. Next we have our new player mats, which match the ones that came in Red Dragon Inn 5. They're themed for each of the characters. We have one for Spyke, one for Flower, and one for Otto. Otto's is a little bit different. We'll get to that in a minute when we get to how he works. Because we're adding new content that wasn't around when Red Dragon Inn 5 came out. We have new dividers for Spyke and Flower with their little character descriptions on the back. We have one for Otto with his rules on the back. We also have one for the treasure deck, which is unique to the Munchkin characters, and one for our drink deck for Munchkin themed drinks. Because this is a standalone expansion, it comes with its own drink deck. So those can be used with your Red Dragon Inn 5. They would match the dividers that are already in there for the other characters. Then we have our actual cards. I'll zoom out a little bit here. So first off we have our Otto deck. And he's our new AI mechanical friend. And his deck's actually divided into suits. You have warrior, you have priest, you have magician, and you have rogue. And you mix and match the different ones of those. You pick two when you play and you mix them together to combine kind of how he's going to play based on what factions you pick. Next we have Spike's deck, and these contain pretty much standardized cards. A lot of them are the same as you're going to see in other games. If I can find, you know, Wench brings some drinks for my friends, Gambling I'm in, Winning hand. They're all mixed in because we've been playing. But, so on top of all your standard cards, I raise, tip the wench there. You have your normal action cards here, like these. And they have a number on there. And this top line is what this card does. If you're level 5, you get the bonus from the you get the second line instead. And some of them have more than one. Find one. There's one if you have level 5 or 9. And you go up your levels by equipping gear. And you get your items by way of one of them turns face up each turn from this treasure deck down here. We'll get to in a second. And you either have to equip it or do what it is. Sometimes there's curses in there. Or you can play cards like this, where at the end says get treasure. It allows you to go get a treasure card and add it to your equipment. Flower is almost identical to Spyke. That's the only one downside. Do have some cool new artwork in there, but pretty much they have all of the exact same cards. They have one or two different ones that are kind of neat, but mostly it's artwork. And they're the same, different levels get you different abilities. We have our treasure deck here. At the beginning of each munchkin player's turn, so either Spyke or Flower, you can turn the top one of these up. And you're going to look, in this case we have goggles, which are treasure. They go in your headgear slot, and they also have a sometimes ability at the bottom here. You can use these just as you would a sometimes card and get this ability down here. They also add 2 to our level. And you can only have certain items based on your player board here, if I can pick it up. And as you can see here, you have 1 headgear slot. You have 2 hands. You can carry 2 one-handed weapons or 1 two-handed weapon. You have armor and then footgear. If you draw one that you already have, you can choose to take the new one or keep your old one. Whatever you don't pick gets discarded. If you flip up a curse, see if I can find a cursed one real quick. If you flip up a curse, you have to immediately do the effect of the curse here, which is usually something bad for you. It can involve you losing health, losing equipment, and so on. And just a cool new addition to the game. Neat little mechanic. Fits very thematically with the Munchkin characters and fits pretty well into the Red Dragon Inn play as a whole. Next we have our drink deck. Because this is a standalone expansion, it's got a complete drink deck in here. I don't know if there's anything spectacular or new in here. They do have a monster kicked open the door because that's an event from Munchkin. But a lot of it's just generic cards that have been around. There's only 1 or 2 new ones in there. But still, another drink deck. You can either use this, combine it with other decks, or play it as a standalone with this. And we have our coins. They continue to do this, which just I do not understand, but the coins in the character ally expansions are always smaller than the standard ones. And then they have a couple of the 5 coins in here. I'm not sure why they have smaller gold coins here, bigger ones in the base set. I don't use the coins anymore. We have plastic coins we use because it just feels cooler when you're gambling and throwing real coins around. And then you have a bunch of the new alcohol and fortitude markers. I don't use these either. I still use the red and white glass beads that came in the original sets. But it's nice to have them there for the new characters. And finally in here we have our new prize variant. Now I saw this in one other expansion. I can't tell you which one it was. But there was a prize variant card in there too. It has the rules on one side on how to use the prize variant optional rules. And on the back we have the Talisman of Liquid Courage. And it's like a one-use item. You use this and it gets discarded and then comes back around so somebody else can get it. And the next time you'd gain alcohol content from a drink, you toss this into the prize bin. That's how it gets recycled back around. And the first 3 alcohol content of that drink actually increases your fortitude instead of your alcohol content. So it makes you healthier instead of more drunk. That's a neat little one. Like I said, there's one more of these I've seen. It came in a different expansion, and they're probably going to be adding more as they go. Adds to that prize pool and gets some interesting items into circulation. So the one major new addition to this is Otto, and he has 2 meters, 1 on each side. They only go up to 6, where the player ones go all the way up to 20, but he still has an alcohol meter goes on the 0 and a fortitude meter that goes on the 6. Each time he takes an action at the beginning of his turn, he's going to flip over a card based on the faction of the card. You're going to have an action, you're going to have a sometimes, and you're going to have a cheating. On his turn, you're always going to do the action, whatever it is, then you go on to his drinking phase. He only has the draw step and then the drinking step. Whenever he's forced to drink a drink, or if any ability of another player affects him, you're going to draw the top card and look at the sometimes card. In this case, you could ignore a drink. If it doesn't apply, you just ignore it. If it applies, it may cancel a sometimes card and things like that. And you follow the instructions. At any time when a gambling is in place and it's his turn, you draw a card at the bottom. He's either going to cheat and take control, like this card says, or he plays an I win card, I believe there's one in there, or he passes, or things like that. It's all going to tell you what to do on there. As Otto takes alcohol content in, both meters move up, so he gets drunk the same. As a effect of an ability that, say, Spyke plays on him, it will only affect his fortitude on this side, not on that side. Flower would have to affect that side. When either of these reach 0, which would normally knock a player out, when the two touch, or when the two cross actually, it would normally knock out a player. In this case, Otto's resets, and the player who caused him to do that gets either 1 gold from the inn, or gets to draw 2 cards from their character deck, and then you continue on. Doesn't add a lot of new mechanics. It's pretty easy to remember. Sometimes I forgot to draw cards to counter. Every time you play a card, anything that's going to target him or anything as a whole, anytime he takes a drink, you're going to draw a card. Pretty much anything, you're going to draw a card to see what happens. But kept forgetting to do that. We did play a couple games. The rulebook suggests to take 2 of the 4 factions that he has, combine them into a deck and play with that. That way it's got a little variety. We did play a couple games where we combined everything just for the heck of it. Makes him very unpredictable. It's kind of fun. But overall, it's a great expansion. If you like Munchkin, you're going to love the theme of the new characters. They play very much like a Munchkin character with the treasure cards that you equip onto yourself to make yourself stronger, make your abilities and things do more. But in the end, everything plays exactly like normal Red Dragon Inn. It doesn't change any core mechanics. And that's great because they combine seamlessly with any of the other existing characters. I like the fact that it's a standalone expansion, so you can buy the small box, play right out of the box. You have a 2-player game in there, plus the automation, so you got 3 players right out of the box. And it's a fun little way to introduce Munchkin fans to the Red Dragon Inn world. If they like it, then you can expand on into the other box sets, the bigger ones, and so forth, the unlimited amount of characters they have for that game now. So, cool little package. Everything in there is fun. If you're a fan of Munchkin, you're probably going to enjoy it. If you're a fan of Red Dragon Inn, of course you're going to enjoy more characters, new mechanics. The, what do they call these? I keep forgetting. The prize card here, the auto, so you can play 2-player. Bunch of cool stuff all around. Can't go wrong with this if you're a fan of either franchise. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our look at the Spyke and Flower Allies pack for Red Dragon Inn. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.